But this is something I like to do because I'm, again, a 60-year-old man in a 26-year-old body. But this segment we're calling Blowin Off Stink. So I want to describe the stink is, we all know about the stink, even if not literally, we know about it in essence. The stink is the thing you gather up over time, you're going through the week, and there's this film you start to collect energetically. You start to feel heavy. It's like in Wolf of Wall Street, Matthew McConaughey says, it's that acidic mustardy above the shoulder type of shit. You know what I mean? As you go through the week, start gathering stink. And if you don't do something, either physical or mental, that you're just blowing off stink, getting that off you, it just builds over time, just sitting home and sleeping all day is not blowing off stink. Eventually it's going to catch up with you, that feeling when you're kind of going through like Pigpen from Charlie Brown. Like there's that cloud following you because you're just gathering, especially after like a week the month we've had getting ready for 420, that stink was clinging to me over time. You could feel it like almost weighing you down when you're walking through the door. I always need to have something that when I'm done doing it, I almost feel physically lighter. What is that? Before I just keep talking, do you have anything like that you like to do? Because I know you're into, like me, you're into like film, you're into certain things
I would
like
say
that.
for me, my biggest thing, especially now that it's nice out again, I love to like go hiking and smoke and like find like bodies of water, smoke by them. Like I have a bunch of spots I go to.
That sounds very nostalgic.
Yeah, I have a spot in Verona that we grew up calling it Devil's Hole.
Oh,
Yeah,
sounds
right by
dangerous.
Time Warp. It's like a it's like an old train track right there. It runs across it. Um, Waterfall,
Oh, that's
like
nice.
really nice spot. Like we
That's
would
the kind of spot you dreamed of having in high school.
yeah, it was like it's probably my favorite spot to go smoke. I can go out there, roll up, no one's gonna bother me. Like
Because it is nice. I mean, now that we're adults and we're allowed to smoke it if we want to in
that's
our
what I mean,
in our
it's so far
abodes.
off the pack that we used to go there all the time and smoke when we were kids.
Exactly. You lose that kind of wonder about smoking that you used to have back in the day when like you kind of had to be a renegade. You had to go off, you had to go in the woods, there was always a chance I might be murdered if I go smoke marijuana today because I'm going in the middle of fucking nowhere. I'm gonna go in this abandoned house and I'm gonna smoke weed and I don't know if someone else is gonna be in there. I'm not a squatter, but maybe some people are.
Yeah, we definitely weren't the brightest
We
at
did
that
some
point.
stupid shit just so that we could smoke.
I mean, we used to.
Which I don't recommend. I'm not promoting that you should have to do that or you should do that when you're in high school and shit. But I mean, it does when you start to
I mean, even in college too.
you forget that you can. You know what I mean? As you grow older, you forget like you're not a kid anymore. You forget that you can still have fun. You can still go out, and now you're an adult. It's okay.
Yeah,
so it's different. Like you can experience that wonder of nature and smoking.
Yeah, like William Patterson, we had a spot called the Cliffs.
I've heard of the Cliffs when I went there for a semester.
Yeah, so like we would go out there, we'd smoke out there, fire pit, and everything else. We would drink out there. It used to be like a cliff that overlooked like North Haledon, like a part of Patterson. But yeah, like you a lot of those spots that like you had to hide out from that you found when you were younger. Now it's like I go back to a lot of them. I still go to them now because like there's spots I go out to. I smoke, I relax. They're so peaceful.
Yeah.
Like there's a spot over like Parsippany called like God's Chair.
Oh.
Yeah, huge like stone weird thing. Looks like a giant chair, but it sits right in front of another waterfall.
Oh. My God, what do you live in Niagara Falls? This sounds fantastic. Sounds magical. Sounds like Narnia. It sounds fantastic.
It's right off of a lake. Like it's a nice spot. I love going over there and smoking. It's a little more annoying now because now everybody's coming back for the season.
Yeah.
So all like the cabin and all like the houses up there that people aren't there, because they only come up there during the season. Now they're back, so it's gonna be a little more annoying to walk around and smoke because all the kids too. But yeah,
you seeing them, you're like, I know what you're doing.
Yeah, like once the season starts to end, like towards like July, like towards like August, like it's when it's still nice out. Technically, it's not cold because Jersey's all Jersey's freaking seasons like shifted.
Yeah,
So
it's
like
weird.
summer's kind of like September too.
Yeah.
So like when you go around then, it's still nice out. It's not too cold. Um, really nice spots. Yeah, I think that's definitely
Do you
my
have
like
anything
decompressing.
like when you're home, something like that? Because what I like to do is I will I do this kind of, and again, I always have this problem if I treat everything, I start to treat it like work. It's not, starts to become more than just blowing off
Yeah,
stink. But that's just kind of how I am. If I'm not, it's also a part of just my depressive personality. If I start doing things and if there doesn't feel to be some kind of utility behind it in some way, I get depressed. Like, what the fuck? I just have the worst self talk. I'm like, what the fuck is the matter with you? What do you think you're doing right now? You could be doing something productive with yourself, you piece of shit, stupid piece of shit. That's just how I talk to myself. But what I love to do is, and sometimes I won't even use this as the diary because this is kind of how I gauge the strains when I pull them in. If I'm trying something, I'll rip one bowl. That's like it's like one bite review from Barstool. I get one bowl and I see how that treats my little routine that I like to do. I get on the drums or I go in the kitchen because that's where the acoustics are best, and I drum or I sing till I'm hoarse. And it is like scream therapy. It is like, and I do try to sound good. I just end up overdoing it and I always lose my voice at the end of it. But that feeling, especially when you get a strain that works with the what you're trying to accomplish, like when you're drumming, it's like you start to feel like you're present in different parts of the music. Like some strains, I'll smoke it and I feel like I'm sitting deeper back in the track in a way. Like I'm really deep into it. I'm almost like observing the beats and the hits before they're happening. There's like an extra space between the seconds while you're playing that you get to like appreciate what you're doing in a more of a way. You're more immersed in it. And then there's some strains where you're kind of like right on top of it. You're like kind of like rushing through it. You're playing a little faster. You're rushing. It's like whiplash. Were you rushing or were you dragging? It's like that. Sometimes you're rushing, sometimes you're dragging, but then every once in a while there's a strain where you're in the pocket and you're right on where you're supposed to be on. You're playful while you're playing in a way. You're not sticking strictly to this is how this fill is performed on this drum, going through these notes in that way. You're kind of being playful and you're not really conscious of the fact that, oh, maybe my neighbors could hear me. Maybe I don't sound as good as I think I sound right now. When I do that and I get finished doing that, usually like for an hour, I feel like I get off the drums and I'm like lighting the feet, like I'm like walking on water. I feel great when I'm finished doing that. And then when I have times where I'm too busy, where I don't get that hour every other twice a week, I try to do it. If I don't get that in there, I start to feel like your eyes get like you get that crusted over feeling around the eyes. You feel a little manic. I get a little jumpy. I get a little touchy in ways I'm not usually. I lose my like wink. I lose my sense of sarcasm as the stink builds on me. The second I get on the drums and I get through that, it's almost like an adrenaline rush. I'm like my fingers are like moving, like I'm trembling in a way. It feels fantastic. I love doing shit like that. Even there are very few people in my life who are allowed to be around me when I'm doing it. Jackie's one of them. My parents and Cole and Emily are others. But I won't let loose like that around a lot of people. Some people growing up, like if we're in the car, if we're jamming, I'll actually start singing and they'll be like, I don't like when you do that because you don't sound like yourself and it's weird. But I don't care. But if I don't get the chance to do that, I feel like shit. And I don't think enough people do stuff like that. I feel like most people are just hands gripped around the steering wheel, clenching their teeth through life, especially in the way being alive is in the modern age, where you're just in an office for the most part, 9, 5, eat dinner, go to bed, wake up, go back to work. When that's your life and your only escape is 2 days out of the week where you're just drained physically and mentally and emotionally, feel like that reaches a breaking point where you just collapse. You just spaz fully, and I feel like that's huge. Is there anything like that that you do that you feel like where you're done with it and you're like, Jesus Christ, thank God I had time for that today?
I smoke a lot of weed.
That's your thing.
Honestly,
That's the stink.
honestly, yeah. Like
You pull that stink into your lungs and you
I'm
just push
like,
it out of you.
What? Like, inhale the bullshit, inhale the good, exhale the bullshit.
It's very it's
It's
actually
just and
it's
like
a little
me, and
meditative.
like me personally, like I'm a big roller. I've been rolling since I was 14 when I started smoking. So like rolling is part of my process. Breaking down, getting everything ready, rolling everything. Like it's just the whole process is just like calming. It's relaxing to me, and then I get to smoke. Like it depending on like how I'm really feeling. I either put on one of the big three, either Michael, Kendrick, or SZA, and I'll just sit there, rotate my music, and I'll just sit there and smoke my
I would
blunt.
count music as that for sure.
Like,
Music is definitely one of those things where like if I don't get to listen to my playlist that I know I need, I don't. I feel like I haven't done. It's like working out. It's like everybody's got to work out. Like I gotta hear it today. If I don't hear it,
and sometimes like I like a bunch of music, but sometimes like those three can always pull me out of a mood no matter what I'm in. Cool, let me roll up, smoke my blunt, bump these motherfuckers for the next like half hour. Cool, I'm straight. All right, bet. Let's go about our day.
and it's just like a flipping the reset button.
Yeah, it really is just like, all right, bet, we're good. We're back to
Yeah,
regular scheduled programming.
because then things can roll off your back the way they have to. Now after that, you can let things hit you and you can respond to them properly, because when you don't, they stick to you and you attach things to them that aren't really there. You interpret things incorrectly. You take things personally when you shouldn't take things personally. It just starts to fucking it's like a Rocky movie. It's just got you, life's got you in the corner, and it's just beating the shit out of you, and you're just like, Jesus, I'm tapping out at a certain point. You need things like that. A lot of the times, I guess less often, because of, like I said, I don't feel like I'm able to use it in a way. Like I'm not able to turn it into anything that has any kind of utility. Like I can at least use the playing the drums, the singing as like a litmus test, which translates to I'm now better able to communicate this strain and what it's for to customers. I love watching movies and shows. I'm like, I have like a photographic memory of everything I've ever watched. I don't have this with anything else. It's only with like shows I've watched and movies I've seen, to the point where my friends don't, I think it's exhausting. That's all I got is references. But I love like certain movies, especially certain movies. Like I could like anytime I'm sick, my routine is I wake up, like if I'm like sick, like I'm not getting out of bed, like I can't move. I turn on the Fellowship of the Ring extended edition, and I'm going through to the end of Return of the King. That's my day.
I just did that with Star Wars.
That's my day. My day is I'm going back to Middle Earth.
That's a good day. I did that maybe a couple months back. I started with The Hobbit, went through all three, then went through The Lord of the Rings. I want there to be more of the Ring of Power because then I can fill it into where it's supposed to be. Like with Star Wars, I watch everything canonically. I start with
I know it's hard to, especially because the way they have to draw shit out by nature of what little is there adaptation wise that they're working with to make Rings of Power. Those are tougher to just watch one and feel satisfied, because there's so much like slow. It's a very slow burn each season in Rings of Power so far, that like getting through it, if you don't have the whole season to just go through, you can feel like, oh my God, I gotta wait another week now for the next.
Exactly. Like I need it to be done. Like I can't. Like I didn't really watch like by the time I was old enough to like really go back and watch everything on Disney. The Star Wars Clone Wars series was already done.
Yeah, you could just go through
Rebels
it.
was done. The only thing that was new was Bad Batch, and I was like, all right, cool. Like I have more than enough to watch until that's done, and I could just watch everything canonically, and it's like great. And I do the same thing with Jurassic Park. You start here.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, I'm a big Jurassic Park guy too.
Interesting.
Love Jurassic Park.
I like Jurassic Park. I didn't like second one was, I mean, it was good. It just felt weird. It was just a weird.
The one in San Diego it's a weird.
It's weird. The pacing's weird.
From the original trilogy, right?
Yeah, from the first three. The pacing's a little odd in that movie. The characters feel like, I feel like I'm supposed to feel different things about these people. the way they're acting, but the way they're written, I'm sure is different. You know what I mean? I'm not getting what I'm supposed to be getting from you people. Jeff Goldblum's character is a different guy from the first movie. He's like a father. He's still quirky, but he's like not the guy he was in the first movie. He's like a totally different dude.
I think it's also interesting because like we spend like so little time on the island itself that it's like, okay, so
And then the third one's
the
just
other half
ridiculous.
of
The
this
third
movie
one,
is just
he's
in San
the
Diego.
third one. He's Grant is talking into a voice box of a raptor, talking to the raptors, tricking them and shit. They just jumped the shark in the third one, in my opinion.
They were doing a bunch of shit.
It was like, weird. I don't know why they even made it. I was just confused.
I'll say this:
It kind of ruins his character arc from the first one, because the first one he's supposed to have grown into this guy. He didn't like kids. You know, he's all of a sudden by the end of the movie, he's like that little boy's best friend. He realizes he could be a father, and he has all this growth. And then the third one, he's kind of back to square one, and then he just has that whole journey again. It just felt weird.
I'll say this: the one is, I feel like I have more gripes with the newer ones.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. The newer ones were not.
Like the old ones have their issues, but that's also they have their issues more so because of the limitations of what they knew at the time.
Well, that and the first one is more of a feat of directing.
Yeah.
From Spielberg's point. Like, there's a lot if you go back and watch the
original is.
Like, if you watch that again, if you watch it like with a critical eye and you do the closer look, there are things that, you know, logically don't add up. Like the scene where the T-Rex comes out of the cage, he's able to walk out of the cage, but then when they're going off the side, all of a sudden that is now like a 60-foot drop. Well, then how did the T-Rex?
Look, we're not gonna.
That's why. No. But that's why. That's why it's a feat in filmmaking, because when you first watch it, that doesn't even cross your mind. You're so in the moment. You're in the car. You're with the kids. You're feeling that panic. You don't even have that thought when you first watch it. That's why Spielberg is such a great director. Because he's like a magician doing a magic trick. He's got you're looking over here, and then all of a sudden he's swapping out the change in your pocket or some shit. You don't realize that that's happening. He's tricking you. A good director is great at tricking you in that way.
You know who's criminal of doing that? Godzilla. And I'm a huge MonsterVerse guy. I love Godzilla.
Do you mean in the way that
King Kong, when he was fighting Kong, when Kong was on the aircraft freighter, my man Godzilla was basically standing up in the water. They were in the middle of the ocean.
I've seen those memes. His legs would have had to have been like 1,000 feet tall.
What are you talking about? You don't think about it in the moment. It's like,
it's just a fun action movie. You're just watching Kong
and then when
fight
someone
Godzilla.
actually points it out, you're just like,
And that's something.
That's a good point. Like,
yeah, that doesn't make any sense. But that's what makes it good. But that's good action. You're not thinking about it in the moment.
Misdirection.
Exactly.
Classic misdirection.
A bad misdirection is the first Godzilla, when all of the marketing is Godzilla starring Bryan Cranston the whole time.
Are we talking about
the one that when they first rebooted it with Bryan Cranston?
Godzilla 2000 in New York?
No, this was
You talking about the one in New York or no?
No, I'm talking about the one. I think it must have been like 2018.
Or the first when they first did the MonsterVerse.
When they first restarted Godzilla, and it's the modern age Godzilla
honestly,
movies.
It was actually pretty good.
No, it was.
You talking about when they're fighting when he fights
the
Mutos.
The Mutos.
Yeah, the Mutos and Muto Prime.
It was good. I liked the movie. It was weird how much of it was about the human element while you're watching is to watch Godzilla beat up monsters.
Well, that's because the animated series that they have fills in a lot of that, or like the shows as well, like Monarch. Like you get a lot of that aspect of it.
But what I didn't like is the movies marketed. All that marketing was Bryan Cranston in Godzilla. Bryan Cranston dies the first like 3 minutes of the fucking movie. I was very much looking forward to watching Bryan Cranston in Godzilla.
Nope.
That kind of made me mad. I was like, you just lied to me for the past year and a half. I didn't know.
He was in Godzilla.
Quicksilver. I didn't even know Quicksilver was in the fucking movie. But all of a sudden now he's who I'm stuck with, Bryan Cranston, one of my favorite actors on the planet. I lost him. I fell in love with Bryan Cranston and his story, living in the reactor village and him having to go back. And I thought that was the plot. Nope. The father and son mending their relationship so that they can overcome Godzilla or whatever the fuck. But No, he's just dead. He died. He died pretty quickly. And then it's just about Elizabeth Olsen and Quicksilver, which I didn't really care about.
No one cares about
The human element
for the
never
most part.
matters. It's always the cheesiest
The
thing.
human element is funnier.
If anything, it should be like
I
a.
think
It should be a human. It should be
human
like a.
element's better in Kong.
It should be a foil for comedy. You shouldn't actually care about them as characters. You
Like-
should care about what happens to Kong, what happens to
Well,
Godzilla.
I think the way they're different though in that aspect of like Godzilla really like with Kong, it really is like the human element does play a lot into it because of the nature of how the originals were made and everything else.
Well, yeah, Kong's different. I mean,
Yeah, like
Godzilla,
yeah, it's really
you're
about, like,
watching to see how Godzilla
the
destroys
human
the
element
city.
never mattered when Mecha Godzilla, when Ghidorah, when Space Godzilla, whenever they pulled up, it was all about the boxing. No one cared about the human element at all.
Well, and that's what's good about the
human
new
element
ones.
was important in Kong because they were trying to kill Kong,
Exactly.
and they actually could kill Kong.
Right. The good thing about the new movies, like the Godzilla verse and the Kong verse, the monster verse, the kaiju movies, is they've realized that, they've learned that lesson, and it's mostly like Kong's like a character now. Like
Mhm.
Kong has a personality. He like behaves in a way, him and Mini Kong throughout the whole movie.
They gave the comics a lot of like life. Like they're really like the fact that they're bringing in more and more kaiju. Like I was a little upset that they killed off Scylla so quickly, but like it is what it is.
Yeah.
But
But
there's a lot of
more
there's a-
franchises could do a lot to learn that.
the
Like
new
Transformers
one,
is
I can't
one.
wait for the new one.
Like Transformers is one. They care way too much
Michael
about.
Bay.
They care way too much
wrecked
about what
that franchise.
They care way too much about what Sam Witwicky's up to. Now he can't go to college. I don't give a shit about Shia LaBeouf or what he's doing. Where's Optimus? Where's Bumblebee? I don't care about him not being able to get a job. I want to see two CG things. That's why I'm watching a Transformers movie.
Mhm.
I'm watching it to see this computer fight this computer.
And even when Mark Wahlberg took over, it was still like
That was just it was just random. Like
that
why?
was the craziest part. Was
I was like, why am I watching Mark Wahlberg? It's like, where's Shia LaBeouf? It was confusing.
It was like, wait,
It's like when you're
why
watching
is
House of the Dragon and then halfway through the season, it's a new actress playing Rhaenyra.